Hey, this is Dave from the Not So Ancient Chinese Secret Show, and today we're going to take a look at the Ronin-S focus motor. I've already done a review of the Ronin-S, and I love it. And the focus motor isn't the first accessory I would recommend, but when I first saw the prototype of the Ronin-S at NEB earlier this year, I was really intrigued with the focus motor for those of us who don't just want to rely on autofocus. Before we get in the review, let's take a quick look at what's included in the box. As far as build quality is concerned, it's excellent. It's a full metal housing. The rod that comes included with the mount is also metal, and the only thing that's plastic are the focus gear strips, and only time will tell how well those are going to last with pro use. Installing the hardware was a breeze, but it didn't come with an Allen key, so you have to find one to get this stuff screwed on. It's also highly recommended to update the firmware of your Ronin-S, and thankfully it's a really easy download from their website, and you can quickly update both the gimbal and your focus motor as long as they're all connected at the same time. Now in use, it's really simple. There's only one button on the focus motor, and there's also one multifunction button on the focus wheel. On the focus motor, one button press will change it from focus to iris, controlling the aperture, to zoom. But in all honesty, I didn't get anything working except for in the focus mode, even though currently it's applied to my zoom ring. If your lens has mechanical hard stops on either side of its focus, aperture, or zoom rings, then the auto calibration couldn't be easier. You just double tap the button on the focus motor or the button on the focus wheel, and it automatically finds those hard stops and gives you full control of that range. Now I should note that there is some motor noise. So if you're going to have your microphones that are built in or on top of the camera, you're going to have to fight with the motor noise or just move it very slowly where you still can hear the noise, but it's not as aggressive. Some of the pros include the build quality, the ease of use, the strong motor. I was literally quite shocked that the motor was strong enough and had enough torque to control my zoom ring on the Sony G Master. And if anybody owns this lens, you know how tight this lens is, this zoom ring, because even if I'm on a tripod and I try to change my focal length with the zoom ring, I often find myself moving the tripod even though it's locked down. And so I am really happy that I can control this. It's kind of an added benefit. The knob feel is also excellent. It's amazingly smooth. It feels like it's connected even though I know it's not. And if it's calibrated well, I do find that even one finger can control it really nicely. Besides feeling great, you can also press and hold for 2 seconds this little button here, and it reverses the direction of the motor. And so it's really nice to be able to just customize it that way so easily. Now here's a quick tip. If you're going to be using the focus motor to control your zoom range and your lens, like mine, changes length as you zoom in and out, I recommend balancing the camera on the gimbal in the midpoint of that range. And that way it's going to work less when you're extended or contracted on that lens zoom. For your motors, it's going to save your battery life as well. But sadly, this is where the good news stops, because although I could calibrate it with my hard stops on my zoom ring on this lens, this is a G Master 24-70 2.8, I could not figure out how to calibrate it with my focus ring, because my focus ring is what they call a focus by wire or fly by wire system where it turns continuously in both directions. So if your lens doesn't have hard stops, there's no way, sadly, of calibrating this motor to it. Even worse, every time you turn off the gimbal, you'll have to recalibrate it so that your motor knows. It doesn't remember. Now let's get to the bottom line. Would I recommend this thing? Well, it depends. Like if you've got cinema lenses with hard stops for the focus ring, or if you want to control it with a zoom ring that has hard stops, this is amazing. Really good build quality. It's got a great feel for the knob, so it's easy to control. And I can see this being a real powerful addition for those of us who want more creative freedom and control over our video. But for the many of us who have fly-by-wire lenses, it's just not ready for prime time. I'm really hopeful though that DJI will release an update firmware really soon to fix this. So do I regret getting this motor? It's not cheap at $170 US, but honestly, I'm so glad that it didn't work with my focus range because I put it on as my zoom control. And now with this kit, I've got stabilized zoom control on it as well. Granted, I have to rely on my autofocus still, but hopefully in a firmware update, they're gonna fix that issue and I'll be golden. As always, I've got links and notes in the description below, and I'll be updating this as soon as I can when the firmware update comes out. But before I let you go, I do have a thought of the day to share. Love from the center of who you are. Don't fake it. Run for dear life from evil. Hold on for dear life to good. Be good friends who love deeply. And practice playing second fiddle. Quote that speaks to me for who I want to be. But thanks so much for watching. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.